false and malicious accusations of corruption and outright theft have been leveled against me. These commissioners have told the world and perpetuated a falsehood, which they continue to do, that I and another member of the commission are under investigation. I have been mentally tortured, humiliated, bullied, and defamed. This happens daily, hourly, 24/7, and I think even as I talk now. My family and I have not known peace, especially the past 6 months to date. Today I called you here to inform you, and in particular CBS and BBS Terefayina and Observer in particular, and through you to convey to the world that those accusations are false and malicious. It is also not true that I am under investigation by any investigative agency. Like I told some of you on the phone, although you didn't seem to listen to me, you don't have to take my word for it. Just take off a few minutes and call the IGG. Call the State House Anti-Corruption Unit. Go to CID at police to establish if any of these agencies or any other agency is investigating me for any crime. You ought to have done the necessary cross-checking before you embarked on spreading falsehoods against me. I sometimes wonder, is this laziness? Is it lack of professionalism or sheer hatred for certain people? By the way, this institution, as I have repeatedly said to the media and even in Parliament, is the most resource-starved among all constitutional bodies. This is very easy to establish. There is no money to steal, even if I were a thief, which I am not. There is no money to steal at the Uganda Human Rights Commission. I want to remind you and the country that I was Deputy IGG for 8 years, starting August 2013 to August 2021. For half a year of that tenure, after the departure of the IGG, Justice Mulyagonja, and after the departure of my colleague, Mr. George Bamugemerere, I was the acting IGG. If I were the kind of person your media houses and others have depicted me to be, that I am a thief, I would be a very wealthy woman today. 8 years is a long time. You have no idea the huge chunks of money I was offered as Deputy IGG to kill investigations, to end prosecutions, to drop appeals, to lift interdictions. You have no idea how much money powerful politicians offered me to commence investigations and prosecutions against their potential competitors so as to take them out of the race. You have no idea. If I was the corrupt person CBS talks about every day, which Observer writes about and talks about every day, I would be very rich. I wouldn't even have to steal non-existent money at the Uganda Human Rights Commission. I ought to have abused or stolen money from the office of the IGG, not this one, where there is actually nothing to steal. Let me share this to you, with you. The day I went to Parliament for vetting as a nominee for this position of Chairperson Uganda Human Rights Commission, I was escorted out of the Appointments Committee by 2 honorable members of Parliament. One of them told me, I quote, "My dear, you are in very big trouble. One of the members you are to work with will do everything to hurt you and fail you in your work. You will be scandalized, bullied, disrespected, and humiliated on a daily basis. You will be destroyed. End of quote. Sadly, this has come to pass. My first physical contact with this commissioner made it clear to me that I was in a tough place. This commissioner told me, I quote, "It is me who ousted your woman MP, Irene Mulroney, from cabinet." I wrote a report on her, which I submitted to the president, and within weeks, she ceased to be energy minister. I quote. But not even this revelation could have prepared me for what lay ahead of me. I had never in my work experience gone through anything like this. This member of the commission constantly reminded me that there were 8 files on me at ISO and CMI. I kept calm, knowing that I'm clean. My conduct or loyalty to my country had never been under scrutiny since I joined the government service in 1996. I was constantly reminded that I'm an outsider, simply because I was not born in Western Uganda, and that I would not last the 6 years as chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. I remained firm because I know that the president who appointed me chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission knows my CV. He knows where I was born, and that did not matter to him. Immediately thereafter, this commissioner began sponsoring hurtful, false stories about me on social media. When we lost a member of the commission, Father Lokodo, who had traveled to Geneva on official duty, I sought help from government to repatriate his body and hold his funeral. Like I said, this is a commission hardly with a budget. We didn't have money to repatriate that body. In fact, even that event he went for was sponsored by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. Through Honorable Roselili Akelo, then Minister for Ethics and Integrity, I reached Her Excellency the Vice President, who delivered 500 million shillings, not cash. It was wired to our official account to be managed by the accounting officer, Ms. Margaret Ejang, but under the supervision of Honorable Akelo. In fact, all the budgets were presented to Honorable Akelo for approval. Before Father Lokodo's body could even be delivered at Entebbe Airport, I saw a story online that I had stolen the 500 million shillings, money to which I had no access. As we returned from Karenga after his burial, before we could even reach Gulu, I saw a story online that I was a witch and had killed Father Lokodo. I later learned that these false stories were, and many more others, sponsored by the same commissioner. This went on and on and on. Fast forward, the current accusations of corruption against me were originated by this same commissioner, aided by 2 others. Once again, the accusations are false and malicious. These people are idle, they are shallow, crazy, and seem not to know their roles as members of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. They are hateful, malicious, vile, and are determined to destroy not just me, but the entire institution. They have never accepted me as their leader and have openly vowed to get me out of office. The mandate of the Uganda Human Rights Commission is very clear in the Constitution, Chapter 4, the largest chapter in the Constitution on the Bill of Rights. These members do not add value to the execution of the mandate given to the commission by the constitution. They are bent on just destruction. That is all they do. Clandestine meetings, storming your media houses, storming senior people's offices. Wangadya has done this, she has done that. Article 51, Clause 4 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda says, the chairperson and members of the commission shall be people of high moral character and proven integrity. How I wish the appointing authority, in this case, my beloved President Yoweri Museveni, had taken these constitutional provisions seriously. The Uganda Human Rights Commission has over the years become a dumping ground for political failures. Agudde mu kalulu, genda weogomeko wali. Those who have been rejected by the voters. This is their dumping ground. You lose an election, immediately embark on aggressively lobbying, cajoling, kneeling on highways to attract sympathy of the powers that be. Calculate that maybe today the Honorable Speaker of Parliament will pass here, or the Vice President, or Mama, and you go and kneel along the highway to attract sympathy. And lo and behold, you land at the Uganda Human Rights Commission. The Uganda Human Rights Commission is now a place where people are sent just to mitigate their financial indebtedness. People are sent to the Uganda Human Rights Commission to be shielded from loan sharks, to survive. Those with long illnesses who need up-to-date ARVs are sent to the Human Rights Commission as commissioners. There is no genuine serious scrutiny of many of the members sent here. There is no check on their professionalism or competence. It's just about wagwa mu kalulu, you need abalonzi bakukamula. Genda ojira otuulako wali. I don't think that is the purpose for which the Uganda Human Rights Commission was created. This institution deserves respect. Nobody cares about the integrity levels of the people they send here, their professional competence, how they behaved in their previous occupations. That doesn't seem to matter. Your Excellency the President, it's a high time you took this commission seriously. These same commissioners have made it difficult for me to perform my duties effectively as a chairperson. They have almost paralyzed the policy level of the commission. Although our staff continue to work, normally the best they can. This is Kawukumi in our midst. But even 10 Kawukumi, even 10 weevils in a sack of beans can make the beans hard to consume. The entire broth will stink. These crazy, insufferable individuals shout at me during meetings. They point fingers at me and swear at me all the time. They vow to my face that they will evict me from office. They have threatened physical violence to me. The relentless, brutal smear campaign they continue to unleash on me proves their intent and determination to harm me. And they have the capacity to do exactly that. I do not doubt them. Among them are people with convictions on drug-related offenses. One of them sometimes used to come to meetings high on alcohol and drugs, and worse, when armed with a gun. One of them was not long ago prosecuted for attempted murder of her lover. There are records to show all these things. I know that the charges were eventually dropped against her, but she did not go through a full trial to determine her innocence or guilt. She was merely forgiven.